Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Shikana, I want to ask you, for some reason, I have three calendar invites.
hmm
Oh.
are they coming from the same platform, or is one coming from Outlook and one coming from Google?
Let's see. Zoom, they're all Google.
Okay. It might be because some are on the invite from the Zoom app, and then we have a Google Calendar invite. We um we were having some trouble with the initial calendar invite from Outlook, and so we had to make one through Google Calendar, and so I think it's just having people's calendars a little out of whack.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. I like your earrings too, by the way.
Thank you. Sorry about that, y'all. I know I really try not to flood people's calendars and emails. I know things already just get overwhelming. And so thank y'all for just being patient with us. We know that this also like event is over 1,000 people on our newsletters. It was initially over 1,000 people on the calendar invites as this body of work continued to transition. And so it's just a little harder to flush out, old calendar invites and make sure people who want to be on the call are on it. Um, so we're trying to find a consistent way for people to just be able to join the call and for it to be on people's calendars without it coming like as spam. So thank y'all for being patient with us as we figure that out and how to navigate that. But good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining, being on with us today. Hope y'all are having a good week so far. Hope y'all are able to bring in August strong. We'll get things started in a few minutes. Just want to give people time to join the call. Good morning. Good morning. As people are coming in, just want to give people time to get adjusted. Feel free to come off mute, say good morning, drop anything in the chat. Hope that everybody's August is off to a good start, a restful start. We know that summer is slowly but surely coming to a close. The babies are going back to school and all the things. We know that the ball doesn't stop. So, hoping that you all are just finding moments of rest, finding moments where you are able to just balance it all. Um, Definitely super excited for today's call. Gonna give people a few more minutes to come on before we get the ball rolling, but feel free to come off mute if you need anything. If this is your first time in a while, welcome back. So glad you could join us. If you were able to join us last week, we were in person last Wednesday at Turks building. If you don't know, Tennessee Immigrant Refugee Coalition has a brick and mortar in South Nashville. And so we got a chance to tour their facility. We got a chance to just go sit in with them, get some really, really valuable information. Got equipped with some really good tools just about how to navigate um, through this. trying time that we are in, especially if your nonprofit directly serves the immigrant and refugee community. So thank you to everyone who was able to attend that. We super, super appreciated it. We had such a time, great food. So we just thank you all, for attending that. We'll be in person again at the end of the month. This month, we'll talk a little bit about that as we get the ball rolling for today's call, but just wanted to give a quick shout out to those who were able to be in attendance for that. Another quick nugget is that we did officially transfer our newsletter to a different platform called My Emma. If you did not know, if you noticed that you did not receive our newsletters this week, please feel free to email me. I'll get you re-signed up. We just want to make sure that that transition is smooth. And so, in case anybody's emails just slip between the cracks between that transition and you notice that you didn't receive our newsletters this week, please just email me. We'll get you back on there. Good morning. I see we have someone who's on the call for the first time. Good morning. Thank you so much for being able to join us today. All right. I don't want to prolong the time. We do have a few additional announcements that I'll make towards the end of the call. But I just want to honor our host time. And so if you have also any announcements, questions, feel free. We'll allot some time for us to um come off mute at the end of the call as well. But just want to honor our host time and get the ball rolling. Benayes, are you all set and good to go?
Yeah, I am. I'll just need to share my screen at some point, but everything else is looking good.
Absolutely. Alrighty, I just made you co-host, so you should be good.
Okay, perfect. Did you give me a second? Did you want me to stop at a certain time?
Whatever feels natural for you, whatever feels like a natural point for you to stop, we can stop, take questions, and then I'll just say some announcements at the end. I would say no later than maybe 11:30.
Okay, 11:30. Stop.
That feels pretty good. Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Let me get my.
While Benias is teeing us up, I just wanted to shout out Black Mental Health Village and Benias. If you aren't familiar with Black Mental Health Village, they have just been doing some truly, truly impactful work for Black nonprofit leaders. They provide so much impactful trainings and just so many resources, not only for nonprofit leaders, but just for the Black community in general. They've been doing some really good work that I personally have just been wanting to amplify. And the village will be walking alongside them, partnering with a lot of things that they have planned this year. And so this definitely will not be the first time. It's not for most of y'all, the first time seeing Benias on the call today. And so just wanted to just kind of give that quick intro context. If you aren't familiar with Black Mental Health Village, we'll have all their information linked in the newsletter as well as Benayas's email, and I'll drop that all in our chat as well. But the training that he's providing today it was also an in-person training that he provided a few weeks ago. And so just want to just amplify the work that our nonprofits are doing, the lived experiences, honor the lived experiences and the expertise that our own village members bring to the table. And so super excited to have Benias on the call today, with us, super excited to talk about dive into the training that he's going to be providing for us today. So I will make sure I drop his email in the chat in case anyone wants to reach out to him after today's call for any questions or resources.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm actually gonna jump into the Zoom with another computer just because this computer won't let me share. So you'll see another name popping in soon.
This meeting is being recorded.
Benias, while you tee that up, can I do one more shout out? He might be having some tech issues, but if you guys can hear me okay, I did also just want to shout out that the village, we received our signed contract with Metro. Just want to give a moment of applause there. If you guys didn't know, if you guys didn't know, we had just been on a brief pause with a lot of our programming because we were waiting on a signed contract from Metro, and so we are super excited about that. And so this month, between this month specifically, you will see us just kind of maybe reactivating a lot of programming that had taken a back seat. You'll see a lot being dropped in the newsletter about some things that we're teeing up. We're super, super excited about. One thing that we are most excited about is our upcoming collaboration retreat. That'll be October 2nd and 3rd at Camp Widgiewagon. Our affinity spaces that we'll be teeing up. Of course, so many workshops and just learning experiences that we'll be able to just tee up for y'all and push out. And so we're super, super excited about that. We want to thank y'all for being so patient with us. I know I was receiving so many emails about things that people were interested in us being able to provide some support, some education around. And so we did have to scale back. And so we thank y'all so much for just giving us grace and being patient with us as we navigated through that. And so please, please, please keep an eye out on our newsletters as we are, teeing up some things. There'll be some partnerships we may do with Tennessee Nonprofit Network, some classes that we'll be able to just kind of align our village members with. And so please feel free to just send anything our way, any workshops that you guys are becoming curious about, any learning experiences that you would like for the village to walk alongside with you with. Please, please, please let us know. We also are developing our consultant curriculum. And so our consultant projects will be able to be teed back up. And so all the things we're just super, super, super excited about. I see Benias is teeing things up, so I'll wrap this up, but just wanted to give that quick shout out. We're super excited about that. So thank y'all for y'all patience with us on that. And I will be quiet now because it seems that Benias.
I finally got it. Thank y'all so much for your patience and thank y'all for being with me today. Shekinah, thank you so much for the invitation to speak with everybody. And I know this is a pertinent topic because there's a lot going on in the world and we're all stressed for various reasons and for different ways. So we're gonna really unpack what stress is and look at some stress management techniques. And so if you guys don't know me, I'm Benai Societas. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Black Mental Health Village. We are a community-based mental health and health justice organization. And so we focus on mental health and public health initiatives that are community-led and we aim to address mental health disparities and the well-being of Black and minoritized communities impacted by trauma, poverty, and lack of mental health care access. And our vision is a world where Black people can live joyful and healthy lives. And to make this happen, we're working on building a supportive community interested in healing and collective liberation. And our values are systems approach, harm reduction, centering Black and marginalized communities, trauma-informed care, and transformative justice. And if you have any questions about what these values mean, I'm happy to explain them later. But today, I want to really, first, I'm going to show y'all, because it's been really hard to communicate the work of Black Mental Health Village and what we're doing. And so we've been working and working and working to make it a little easier. But the way that we build power for our community is through healing, right? And healing looks differently for different people. We know we need individual healing. And so that's the work that we do in our clinical department, where we offer free and sliding scale therapy, as well as therapy referrals to Black therapists in Tennessee. We also do med management with our partner, Blue Sage Wellness. So that's our clinical healing, but we also do communal healing because we understand that healing doesn't just happen in isolation. It doesn't happen in in a therapist office. Healing happens in community, and so we want to bring community together to take part of wellness programming, to take part of trainings and workshops like this one, so that we can continue to build up our partnership and our networks, so we can address the needs of our communities. And so a lot of our work comes from our community healing team, our heal team, and that comprises of our volunteers, interns, our partners, our members, and our college ambassadors. So it is really the community and everybody who plugs into Black Mental Health Village that helps us do the amazing work that we do. So we're just grateful. But more than that, we know that there's a lot of narratives, there's a lot of media that depicts Black people in ways that are harmful to our psyche. And so some of the work that we do is also narrative building. And we want to move more into the space, marketing, storytelling, digital advocacy, social media campaigns, going on radio shows, but pretty much letting people know the ways that we've been impacted, the things that have harmed us, and the ways that we're taking charge and taking care of our own healing and the healing of our community. And so we invite you all with lived experiences to share your stories, especially now at a time where so much is happening and a lot of people are feeling hopeless and helpless. This is the time where we need our stories to help other people overcome. And then lastly, our health equity advocacy research development. We do public health trainings and educations. We do health equity advocacy and leadership program. Currently providing this training called Pathways to Health Justice. We have a Health Justice Coalition, and y'all hear more about that on the 27th of August. And we also do harm reduction. So these are the various ways that we do the work in our community. And I just wanted to make sure that we're able to communicate that out so you all know what all is going on. But with that, I said a lot about me. I said a lot about my organization. If anybody wants to share your name, pronouns, what stresses you out, and what are your stress management practices do you have, we can start from there. So let's get at least 3 to 5 people to share. On mic, or I can check the chat if need be. Or Shekinah, actually, you check the chat for me if anybody shares. Who wants to break the ice?
Okay, I will. Hello, this is Ashley Garth. What stresses me out? Well, I am a full-time entrepreneur, so sometimes when you're on the hunt searching for clients or things like that, it can kind of take an emotional toll. So that would be one thing. How I handle it is, so I'm a stress eater. Back in the day, I would eat, a whole bunch of chips, but now I might just eat a whole watermelon or about 15 apples.
Okay, so it seems like being a business owner, trying to get clients, trying to get money is the stressor, and then before you used to use eating, but now you're doing healthier food options as a way of dealing with your stress. Thank you for that.
Correct. Thanks.
Anybody else?
I can go. This is Marcus Williams with Alpha Sports. What stresses me out is life, just life in general. I'm a dad. I coach. I work full time. I run a nonprofit. So just being present is what stress is, trying to be present for everybody and everything. So, but what I do is I run. I get out, I exercise, I run. Running, I found has been my best stress reliever yet. So I enjoy that.
Thank you for sharing, Marcus. Marcus got a lot on his plate. He's a dad, he's a coach, full-time employee, nonprofit leader. Man, it's exhausting. So running is what he does. Anybody else?
My name is Natalie Jackson. What stresses me out is just when adults act like children and you have to facilitate on all levels, be a counselor, be their mom, be their, sister, and just try to help them navigate through difficulties that happen when people don't communicate effectively or you don't like how I looked at you or whatever happened. So that those are some stressors for me. I'm an executive director, so everything kind of falls on me sometimes when processes and systems are not working properly. I'm still trying to navigate some stress management practices. I have started walking lately, and that's really been helpful for me. But I am learning that I do need to make sure that I'm taking time, even during my day, to close my door and step back and not take calls, not check emails, just sit and be with myself.
Thank you so much for that, Natalie. So Natalie is dealing with adult children, and I think we can all relate to that. And sometimes, and some of the things that you mentioned seems like the adults that you're dealing with have not met developmental uh, milestones so that they can take care of certain things. So it seems like a lot is on your plate. And then walking, but we're looking for some more stress management techniques. Thank you for that. Anybody else? We'll take.
Yes, I go. My name is Laquita Baker. I work for Free Hub. I'm the community support coordinator. What what I be stressed out about is, I was informed and incarcerated. I've been home 5 years, and when I, tell people about my goals, what I'm trying to do, I want to be a notary. They give me this backlash. You ain't gonna do it. You was a felony. You was this and this. And then when I come back and tell them, what you said to me, but guess what? I'm a notary now. I'm blah blah. I'm for to apply for me to be insurance agent. I'm working on this. I'm finna get my CNA. It's like people not happy for you in the world when they know where you been and where you going. It's like they don't want to clap for you. But then when you come back and tell them, God put you through and you still made it. It's a like the smirk. It's like not real. The love. Oh, I congratulate you. I'm happy for you. But to me, the vibe that I get, it's like it's fake, and that get on my nerves. So what I do now is, I just when I tell them, I ain't gonna say I make them be excited about me, but I just tell them what God did for me. He can also do it for you if you get that hate off your heart. So I just wanted to share that, share that with y'all. And that's a good topic because I was just walking in Gabe's today, like I am so stressed out. And when you made that the top, like I got to speak on this. But yes, thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you so much, Lakita. And I completely agree. Having it's difficult being around people that don't really support you, that don't really uplift you, and that tear you down, or talk about all the things that could go wrong. So I'm glad that you're overcoming the negative talk that you're receiving from others, and still aspiring to achieve the goals that you have for yourself. So shout out to yourself, and you should be proud of yourself. I definitely am. But thank you all so much for the icebreaker, for introducing yourself, um, and talking about some of the things that stresses you out. So when we look into the definition of stress, because I think it's always important, stress is our body's response to any demand or challenge that disrupts our physical, mental, and emotional balance. It's the feeling we get when we feel overwhelmed, when we don't feel fully equipped to handle things. And as you all mentioned, it could come from things like work, relationships, changes in life, and it can also come internally, right? From your own thoughts, from your own expectations, from your own worries. And we know our thoughts, our expectation, and our worries are shaped by other people. So to your point, look, Vita, it's important for us to minimize some of the harmful or the negative things that other people are telling us, because sometimes we start internalizing and believing that. And so the simple version of stress, right, is when the demand of life exceeds the resources that you have to meet those demands, right? So when you're a dad, you're a coach, you're a full-time employee, when you're a nonprofit, and there's just so much that is needed of you, but you don't have enough resources to meet all those needs, right? There's not enough hours in the day to meet all those needs. There's not enough dollars in the bank account to meet all those needs. And so we get stressed. And stress is actually a good thing, right? Because sometimes stress is a factor that actually pushes us into action, right? So sometimes when we think about stress, we always think about stress as a negative thing, but sometimes stress is what also propels us to take action, right? So we have to not only recognize the harm that stress has on us if it goes unchecked, but also there's benefits to stress because it actually helps us deal with some of the demands of life. And so to understand stress, I think it's important for us to understand our brain, our nervous system. And so I'm taking y'all back to middle school biology, maybe high school. And we're going to talk about the nervous system, right? So there's two parts of the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, and there's the parasympathetic nervous system. And the way I like to think about it is the sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight. The parasympathetic, you can think about it as a parachute, right? And it's slowing you down. A parachute slows you down from falling too hard, right? So your sympathetic nervous system is is activating your fight or flight response. This is when you see a bear and your reaction is, hey, I need to run to save myself, or I need to fight whatever this thing is. Whereas the parasympathetic nervous system, that's the nervous system your body activates when it feels like it's safe, right? So when you're safe, your body's like, okay, now we can take time to rest. Now we can take time to digest the food in our stomach. Because if you're getting attacked by a brain or by a bear, your body wants to direct all your blood into your legs so you can start running, right? So I'll show you this graph. So essentially, your body has different reactions when the parasympathetic nervous system or the sympathetic nervous system is activated. The parasympathetic, that's your body slowing down. That's your pupils constricting. That's your airways constricting. That's the slowing down of your heartbeat. This is when things are okay, when you feel calm. You know, your bladder contracts. That means you're fine. You're good to use the bathroom now because it's not an emergency. When it's an emergency, your bladder is like, nah, this is not the time for us to use the bathroom. Your stomach, inhibits your intestines. So your body's not doing the things that it would do when it's safe. When it's safe, it does these actions. But when it feels unsafe, it's like, hey, we got to do something. We got to dilate our pupils so we can see more things, so we can make sure we don't miss any threats in our environment, right? So our body's just reacting to our environment and assessing whether or not things are going well or things are not going well. And so this is a normal, response. Our body is trying to keep us alive, and so it's just doing its thing, right? But there are times when we are constantly activating our nervous system, and it, sometimes leading it to dysregulation because we constantly are dealing with stress, right? Because our body is meant to deal with stress, but when it becomes chronic stress, your body starts to respond to it differently, right? And so when you have chronic stress and you feel like, let me say you're at work and you always feel like, somebody's attacking you, you feel unsafe. Some people start developing signs of dysregulation where um, their response is constantly fight. So as soon as somebody says something to you, you're feeling, oh, this is all your fault, and you're feeling anger, you're feeling rage, you talk back, you are showing defiance, you're blaming others. And then there's other responses that other people have, right? Not everybody has the same response. Some people's response to a threat is flight, which is, hey, I got to get out of here, right? And this is where thoughts of anxiety, overwhelm also come into play. And so a lot of people end up leaving the space. They start withdrawing. Um, they start being distracted by things just so they don't have to, focus on the things that they're finding distressing. Well, other people, right? We usually talk about fight and flight, but there's also freeze and flop that we don't talk about enough. Freeze is when we feel completely numbed out. And I know some of y'all can relate to it because this is y'all at the end of the day when you're just scrolling through your phone on social media, just nonstop, and you're just numbed out, right? And that is your body being overwhelmed, not wanting to really, take on any additional stimuli, and it's kind of overwhelmed, frustrated. You're not really listening, even though you're scrolling. You're not really paying attention, and so, this is also something that happens to us. And then the last one, um, and this is commonly commonly thought of as some of the reactions that people with depression exhibit is flop. So flop is, hey, I'm not even gonna address it. I'm just disengaged. I'm gonna let whatever it is that's gonna get me. If the bear is coming, I'm ready to get eaten. But instead of freezing, you're just not, or instead of running away, or instead of fighting, you're just in a state of like hopelessness, helplessness, and apathy, right? So you just disengaged, don't really care. And if we look at some of these common behaviors, and I know a lot of y'all work with young people as well, we know that our young people are showing up disengaged. They're showing up with little to no emotion, missing class, missing events, right? And so when we see them acting out of character, we have to recognize that this is signs of dysregulation. They are dysregulated. Something is not right. And other, signs that we can see is, if people have fast heartbeat, shallow breathing, muscle tension, if they're sweaty or jittery, if they're moving around a lot, if they're, looking anxious because they're kind of like constantly moving, you're like, hey, something's going on. Can I check in on this person? But on the other side, we talked about the parasympathetic and how it slows you down. If people become dominant on the parasympathetic, then they constantly have low energy despite being able to sleep. Even though they slept, they're tired. They have difficulty concentrating. They're feeling disconnected or numb, right? And so your body is supposed to oscillate between being aroused and being hyper aroused and being hypo aroused, right? So the level of arousal for a person that is quote unquote normal or neurotypical is supposed to shift, right? Because this could be in the morning, you just waking up, things are calm, Now you got to go rush hour traffic, right? And then it's you're working, you're settled down, it's lunchtime, and then you have a meeting with your boss or something like that. So normally the level of arousal should shift up and down normally. But what happens when we experience trauma or a traumatic event is sometimes our body's nervous system gets stuck where it becomes hyper aroused for a consistent period of time, or it becomes hypo aroused. And based on if you're hyper aroused, you start exhibiting some of the symptoms of anxiety, exaggerated startle, right? If somebody has faced trauma and somebody has harmed them, let's say the trauma was like somebody hit them, the next time somebody gets too close, now they're flinching, right? They're hyper vigilant, looking around their shoulders, trying to see who's coming. They have an inability to relax. A lot of people talk about having digestive problems. Digestive problems come from the fact that your body is constantly hyper aroused and it's not able to slow down and rest and digest, right? Emotional flooding, where all these, things in your head are coming up, sleeplessness, rage, hostility, chronic pain. So when we are um, dysregulated, our body is causing us to have all these traumatic stress responses, right? And similarly, when we face trauma, right, certain kinds of trauma, instead of keeping us hyper aroused, they're going to make us hypo aroused. That means we're dominant on the parasympathetic. That means we're exhausted. We have flat affect, meaning like our face is just kind of like there's no smile, there's no real signal of like how we're feeling. And then we start experiencing anhedonia, which is the lack of pleasure. Things that used to bring you pleasure, sex, food, um, going out with friends, hanging out, all that, it stops, making you happy, right? And so this is when we start going towards depression, where we start having like emotional deadness or disconnection. We start being disoriented. Our blood pressure is affected, and we also deal with chronic fatigue and other issues. And so this is just us defining what it looks like to be in a state of dysregulation. So any questions here? We're gonna stop here, and I'm gonna let y'all ask some questions. But we're gonna come back next on the 20th and talk about the ways that you can regulate yourself. So we have a lot of different techniques that I want to make sure I cover with you all. But any questions at this point? I want to be respectful of the time I was given. Did anybody relate to the distillation? I don't know if anything is in the chat. Appreciate you, Ashley.
Benias, can you talk a little bit more about how to identify? Because I know people talk all the time about fight or flight. I know we hear that a lot, but can you talk a little bit about how someone can even help identify maybe what are their signs of dysregulation? I know people say like, "Oh, my fight or flight response is just fight," but how can someone in moments of dysregulation slow down and identify ways they respond to stress and how to, or even how to identify that in others?
That's good. That's good. So I think one of the best things to help us identify it in others is knowing what they look like during their baseline, right? So it's making sure that we're spending enough time, we're building relationship with people so that we actually know who they are when they're not masking, when they're not faking it, for the rest of the world or for the job that they're in. So when you know them in that state, you're gonna easily be able to identify, hey, something's wrong. I can tell you're irritable. I can tell, you're angry. And this is actually an important thing. Um, a lot of Black women who are dealing with depression, who are dealing with high functioning depression, uh, people will characterize their behaviors as um, aggressive or standoffish or things like that. But oftentimes, these are signs of somebody who's not feeling safe in the environment that they're in. And usually, it's white dominated spaces. And they are feeling, constantly attacked. And their way of coping is because they don't know, who's on their sides. It's just to keep it to themselves, right? So oftentimes, Black women are mislabeled as Black women who are suffering with depression are mislabeled as having attitude issues and things like that, right? And so these are the ways in which um, instead of getting the support that they need, they're being vilified for the way that they're feeling. So that's one thing that I would mention. Another one that we see but we don't talk about enough, in my opinion, is our young people, our young boys and girls who are really angry, who feel like they don't have anybody on their side, and a lot of them are suicidal, right? A lot of them are suicidal, and the way that they display their suicidality is not, I'm gonna kill myself. It's partaking in risky behavior that can potentially get them killed, right? So it's like stealing cars. It's doing, the things that they know might get them shot, or hanging around the wrong crowd. These are some of the risky things that they do because they don't care about the consequences, right? So oftentimes we read it as, oh, you're bad. Oh, like you don't listen. But these are people who are feeling like they have nothing left to lose, right? So it's very difficult for us to understand what's really going on unless we talk to the person and say, hey, what are you going through? What are you experiencing? So that's one thing I want to encourage everybody to do. Instead of saying, what's wrong with you, we got to ask the question, what has happened to you? What have you experienced that's making you react this way? And then in terms of recognizing it within ourselves, I think it is good track moods, right? So if you have a journal, maybe jotting down, XYZ happened, this is how I'm feeling. And this is an important tool, helps you track, your emotions. But another issue in our community, a lot of us don't know how we're feeling. We don't even have describing our emotions. And oftentimes we use the term, I'm feeling some type of way, right? So I want to encourage you, what is that type of way? Spell it out, write it out. Because unless you know how you're feeling, some type of way is not going to help you address your emotions. It's not going to address the problems that you're experiencing. And so we really have to lean into maybe getting a color wheel, right? There are color wheels that have like the feelings wheel, and I can send a copy of that if anybody's interested. But it is important for us to be able to look at the different things, because sometimes we're like, hey, I'm angry, but there's a whole host of emotions, under the category of angry. It's like, I'm disappointed, right? And so we have to be able to tease out how we're feeling so that we effectively communicate and get our needs met. At the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do. We're all trying to get our needs met, but there are ways of getting our needs met, and then there are ways in which we harm other people in order to get our needs met. And we know that's not what we're trying to promote. So it's really being able to understand and evaluate how we're feeling and recognize, hey, something happened today. I don't know what it is, but I'm not myself, right? And so when you track your feelings enough, you'll be able to identify, hey, I'm not feeling like myself. And it may be difficult for you to understand why, but at least you can sit down with it.
That's good, but
Anybody else have a question? Well, I teased y'all a little bit, but part 2 will be coming down the pipeline on the 20th. And so if you guys tune in on the 20th for the village call, I will finalize the PowerPoint. And I'm happy to also send this PowerPoint to anybody who may want to look at it. I'm big on sharing. I'm not trying to gatekeep anything. All information, in the service of our community is beneficial. So let me know if I can support you in any other way. But yeah, Black Mental Health Village has different resources to support you in your stress management and mental health journey. So if you guys are interested, feel free to follow up. And if you guys are looking for trainings or workshops for your organization, you can email eSarah at program@bmhv.org. That's my program manager. She's amazing, and she's gonna make sure that you guys are taken care of. But yeah, grateful for the time that we spent here today, and I'm looking forward to really diving into what are the stress management techniques that you all can adopt.
So
I just noticed it. I'm sorry.
So Benias, I'm sorry about that, Benias. I need you to reach out to me. I reached out to your program manager. This is Harold Benias.
I got you.
So I need you to reach out to me because I got 2 opportunities for you. On October 11th, they're coming with the Thrive Tour for maternal health with Walmart, and they're looking for resources, and that's for everybody that's on here for resources. And I mentioned your name yesterday when I was talking to the person that's putting it together for the National Urban League. So they're coming here next summer. So everybody that's on here, that's going to be an opportunity for resources. And that's the first thing, Renaz. And the second thing is that I wanted you to get in contact with me so I can have our workforce staff be, have some level of workshop on some stuff that you're talking about. And then some other stuff, how to identify somebody if they're decompensating, how to de-escalation, stuff like that. Well, it'll be good for the team because that's my background, Benai. So it's good for the team to have some kind of also some training on that. So if you can get in touch with me, we can definitely have a conversation.
Absolutely, I got you. Sounds good. And with October 11th, is that 25 or 26?
25.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put you on the email with her. Once you email me, I got your email address. I'm gonna put you on the email with her, and I spoke to her yesterday. So we can talk offline. Just give me a call.
Okay. Was it Ken or Regina?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Cool. I got you.
All right.
You had something, Laquita?
No, I just realized this was you.
That's funny.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. We work in the office together, y'all. And I kept saying, I know this man. He got this. I like, yep, I do. That's all I wanted to say. But good presentation today too, as well.
Thank you. And part two coming soon. So I will make sure we deliver on that as well. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? And what I can make sure is during part two also I'll show a list of all the other trainings that we offer. So if anybody is interested, y'all know how to plug in.
Thank you, Benias. And next week, you guys, I know that they would have missed part one, but next week, if you have any employees that are on your staff that you think will really value from being a part of that training, program managers, colleagues that you think would be, that you think will value sitting in that training, please just send them this way. We just want to make sure that people have access to this information. We know that people are being stretched so thin, people are at capacity, and it feels like everything is coming up that's adding to that basket every day. And so we just want to make sure that we are equipping each other, equipping our communities with the tools. We know that education like this really is the kind of education that stands in the gap of a child being kicked out of a summer program because they're dysregulated, but we don't have the tools to identify that as dysregulation, so we just kicking them out because we think that they aren't showing up. Tools like this is what stands in the gap of a program manager being fired or quitting a job because she's feeling burnt out and she doesn't know how to regulate her emotions, or a workplace conflict. So education like this really does go a long way, especially in the line of work that we do. So please send this to a friend, a colleague, so that they can tap in with us for part two. Benias, thank you so much for being able to join us. I'll make sure that all of your information is linked in our newsletter so people know where to find you. I do want to pause while we have 10 minutes left on the call. If anybody wants to come off mute, shout out an event before we hop off, feel free to do so.
So kind of I already put the link in the chat. So we have a career fair on August 20th with the Urban League, American Job Center, and Connection of Americas, where we're having 15 employers. They're going to be at Coleman Park on Thompson Lane on from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. As we keep continuing to get people levels of careers and jobs. As we know, some of the barriers here in the city is employment, healthcare, different types of stuff. So we're going to be having that job fair. I put that in the chat. Hopefully next week, I have some information because we're going to be having an expungement clinic on September 13th at Madison Church of Christ. I'm working on that now in conjunction with MDHA. And then there's some other stuff that we got coming down the pipe with Second Chance that once I get the green light next week. So next week I can talk a little bit about that and that how all the resources that are on this call can definitely benefit on helping our Second Chance people. So that's all I have. And like I said, I put the link on there of all the stuff that we're doing for the next 2 months that's on there.
Harold, for the job fair, are you also looking for just people who are hiring, who are interested in also being a part of the job fair, or just
Just
people?
hiring people
Okay.
it's just going to be for hiring. And if you know somebody, send them our way that day on the 20th, because everybody on here knows somebody that needs some employment or knows somebody that's a client in their program that needs employment. Like Benaiah said, some of these stressors is that the people that we deal with, a stressor is not having a job, taking care of their family. Like we're looking at bringing the jobs to the community so we can be able to give you that opportunity. So, and just hopefully they're maximizing the opportunity that we're giving them.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that information.
Mhm.
Anybody else need to come off mute? And that link that Harold is talking about, it is in the chat. If you joined later and missed it, I'll re-drop it in there.
Hey, Shakana, it's Esther.
Hey, Miss Esther.
Hi. I just dropped in the chat a link for registration and our flyer. We're having a health fair on August 30th, and that is going to have a lot of screenings and I'll say the major screenings and services. There will be the Red Cross. We're going to have a blood drive, mobile mammogram from St. Thomas. St. Thomas Association. Mehari are going to be there doing blood test for sickle cell trait. A lot of screenings. Our mental health are going to be there. Benias is going to be there, and another Mariam Abdallah is going to be there too. And Vanderbilt are going to be there doing information about breast cancer. And then Walgreens is going to be there doing flu shots. So we're going to be at the Luby Center. So because Parks and Recs are one of our partners that are going to be with us. Health department is going to be there with some information. Couple of the programs that held by Metro Health Center are going to be at this health fair. So it's going to be one of the really large health fair that going to service a lot of things for our community. If you know a woman who needs mammogram, they don't have insurance, please send them to me so that I can register them to get their mammogram done that day. So any more information, just give me a call, or everything will be on the registration. Just send me information and I'll be able to answer your questions.
Thank you, Miss Esther.
And I want to shout out Esther. She's part of our Health Justice Coalition. She's leading the effort on this health fair, and so just grateful for her wisdom, her leadership, and yeah, anybody else who's doing work in the same space, we'll talk about that more. But yeah, we're trying to coalesce our efforts, so we're not just trying to do something as one organization, but we're all coming together, pooling our resources, pooling funding, whatever we can. So yeah, shout out to you, Esther, and looking forward to this event.
Thank you, Banais.
All right, if no one has anything else, again, thank you all for joining. Just some dates to lock in your calendars. Like I said, October 2nd and 3rd, the Village Collaboration Retreat will be at Camp Widgie. The information to RSVP for that will be in the newsletter. We'll also be sending out some pre-surveys about that event, just to make sure that that event is just an impactful, useful journey for us to go through together. We also will be in person August 27th. Well, tentatively in person August 27th. The Health Justice Coalition that Benayas keeps kind of mentioning, we'll be having an interest meeting for that. So the information for that is also in the newsletter. Keep an eye out on that. Again, just want to keep you all in the loop. Again, if you missed that, the first end of the call, we have our contract start date with Metro. So we will be pushing out a few things, and super shout out to Erica for just championing that body of work for us and advocating for the work of the village and just making sure that we can do all the amazing work that we do. So thank you all. If y'all need us, email me. If you need Benias, his email is in the chat, and we will see you all virtually next week. All right, enjoy the rest of your week, y'all. Find moments to just enjoy, find joy, rest, do all the things, and we'll see y'all next week.
See y'all.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. Be great.
You too.
Thank you.